like money, motherfucker? Money be green. Money feel like money. That shit look green to you?
Welcome to the Mandatory's Money Be Green, arguably one of the biggest fights to start the year. Natasha Jonas, straight up on the money line, is a minus 125, and the underdog Mikaela in this one, moving up in weight class, is a plus 100. The line has been moving. More people are placing their money on Mikaela. This just actually changed before we decided to record this. Bryan, a massive fight, and if you were listening to this on the audio side, which by the way you can, and if you do, leave a rate and review, but also hit that like and subscribe button, helps the channel grow. This is one of those fights where it is a true 50-50 fight, and on top of that, it's really, really interesting because I feel like Mikaela, after that loss to Alicia Baumgardner, has been trying to kind of prove herself to be like, listen, that was a fight that could have been potentially my win. Alicia Baumgardner had her mess. You know what I mean? I don't think she's in the clear zone to some people. But this is a fight that is going to be a banger. So how are you betting this one?
I have felt the same way kind of since this was announced. And it's very, very interesting that the line moved to Mikaela favor, but that's to be expected. So if you're following along, shortly before we recorded this, Natasha Jonas was minus 150. Mikaela was plus 120 on the money line. That has since moved if you're looking on a screen and if you're listening on the audio side. And thank you for doing that. Natasha Jonas minus 125 favor, Mikaela plus 100. So as expected, the line moved a little bit toward Mayer because I feel like people with familiarity were going to start betting on her to win this fight. But the method of victory has not changed. And my bet had always been Natasha Jonas to win this on points, minus 110. She is fighting in her hometown of Liverpool. So some potential home cooking, even if Mikaela fights this to a close fight. But that's not why I bet this fight. I think it's because Natasha Jonas she's really good. She was knocked out early on in her career and has really responded with some great performances. I think people really need to watch that fight she had against Katie Taylor again. She had a lot more success than I think people realize, particularly with her rear uppercuts, her lead hooks. Straight left hand was beautiful. Had trouble with Katie Taylor's speed, which, who hasn't? But Natasha Jonas was very competitive in that fight, and she barely lost it on the judges' scorecards. Like, barely lost it. And this is like peak Katie Taylor we're talking about. Also fought to a draw with Terry Harper, a fight that a lot of people, myself included, thought that Natasha Jonas should have won, and has built out a very good resume since then. Knocked out 2 of her last 4 opponents. I think Mikaela is somebody who, while she's tall, she actually has shorter arms, and even if she didn't, she's still going to fight on the inside because that's what she loves to do. And she said that to Natasha Jonas's face during the sort of head-to-head, the face-off from Boxer. I watched it in its entirety. If you're looking for like heated arguments or whatever, that wasn't the one for you, but it's interesting to see just the calmness in that room. And I think Mikaela admitted like she likes to fight on the inside, and I think that's going to play to Natasha Jonas's advantage. Both women are hittable, but I think ultimately Natasha Jonas' power is going to win out here. But I don't think she's going to have enough time to sort of knock her out because, 20 minutes, you have 10 2-minute rounds. I think, I wish it was under the Amanda Serrano model because betting on this would be more challenging, in my opinion. But you could talk me into Natasha Jonas as a sprinkle plus 1,000 by knockouts because I think this is going to be a little more on the inside than people expect. And Natasha Jonas does have finishing power.
Yeah, when you take a look at this one and you take a look at both fighters right away, you know that Natasha Jonas is the woman that possesses power in her hands. 9 of her wins is by knockout. And we already kind of know that Mikaela has never really been a big power puncher. She's more skilled. She is going to also be giving up 2 inches of her reach to Natasha Jonas. But we know that Mikaela is skilled. She has a good resume. That one loss is against Alicia Baumgardner, questionable. Some people had Mikaela winning that one. I thought Alicia Baumgardner did enough. But like Bryan mentioned, Mikaela she doesn't mind banging on the inside. And I think in this one, because she does have that 1-inch height advantage, that she should probably try to use that to her advantage against a gritty Natasha Jonas who, listen, she can bang on the inside. She has a nice right hand. She's going to walk you down. She's going to throw flurries. But I do feel like at times Natasha Jonas could headhunt a bit too much. I think she has to mix it up. I think she's got a nasty right hook that she'll be able to land on Mikaela Mayer. But to be honest with you, Bryan, this was one of the fights where when it got announced, I was rocking with Natasha Jonas. I was like, yo, I'm taking Natasha Jonas in this one. She's extremely tough. She has a good resume. You talked about those 2 fights. I thought she won against Terry Harper, and I thought Katie Taylor could have gone either way depending on how you bring that fight. Natasha Jonas is extremely underrated, and this is her weight class. Mikaela Mayer is coming up in weight class, and Natasha Jonas isn't afraid to bang on the inside. Do you want to bang on the inside with someone like Natasha Jonas? But here's the thing, when I was going back and looking at those fights, Bryan, there's one thing that popped in my head. I've always been the one to go with the skilled fighter over the power puncher. Natasha Jonas is 39 years old. She's getting up there in age. Mikaela Mayer coming up in weight class, but at the same time, she's extremely skilled, right? She knows how to mix it up a bit. And at the same time, even though she's never been a big puncher, she's got a nasty left hook and she can throw combos on you. And I like the way that Mikaela Mayer goes to the body. Natasha Jonas, not the best defensively. Mikaela Mayer can get hit as well. But I do think at times if Mikaela Mayer wants, because she does have the height advantage, she can fight like the bigger fighter in this one. Is she just saying in those interviews, like when they're going head to head, that, yo, I'm going to fight you on the inside? That's a great way to tell your game plan to the other fighter. We don't actually know how Mikaela Mayer is going to fight in this one, right? I think what she's going to do is try to test Natasha Jonas's power. She's got to feel it a little bit. And then she's going to decide whether or not she's going to fight on the back foot or not. Because once you feel that power, you try to fight on your back foot. Mikaela Mayer, I think she is the better skilled fighter coming into this one, even though she's coming up a weight class. So for a very long time, I was like, yo, I don't think this is enough time for Natasha Jonas to knock out Mikaela Mayer. But now that I've really delved into this fight, I'm going to rock with Mikaela Mayer to win by points and decision at plus 164. And no, it's not because I'm American. I'm not American. I'm Canadian. That's not why I'm rocking with Mikaela Mayer in this one. I just think that Natasha Jonas has, even though women fighters, if you notice, they've gotten better with age, right? Like they've just gotten better with age when you think about Amanda Serrano and everything. But I think Mikaela Mayer, she's more skilled. She's going to mix it up a little bit more. And I think Natasha Jonas at times is going to try to headhunt way too much. And I think defensively, I give the edge to Mikaela Mayer. They can both get hit, but I think Mikaela Mayer is going to be able to do more damage. I think Natasha Jonas right away, though, if you see the way that she fights, she likes to walk you down. She likes to be the aggressor. And I think Mikaela Mayer is going to have to get started a little bit more quickly. But when it comes to racking up points, even though this is in Natasha Jonas's backyard, I think Mikaela Mayer has a very, very good chance in this fight, especially because they're 2-minute rounds.
2 red flags for me that kept me ultimately from betting on Mayer was, one, she admitted this, she never fought a southpaw.
I knew you were going to bring that up because Jonas is a tricky southpaw.
Yeah,
and that
he's
can
not
be
just a regular ass southpaw who's going to just try to straight left you to death. Like she'll put pressure on you. When she does commit to the body, she's a good body puncher. But I do agree, sometimes she needs to actually look there. But there were times in that Katie Taylor fight, especially as the fight went on late, she started really hitting Katie Taylor to the body. I think if she started that earlier, potentially could have won the fight. And the other thing is basically just the size, because with Mikaela Mayer, it's like you go from super featherweight, the next fight is lightweight, then light welterweight, then all the way to welterweight. I'm not sure what the precedent is for that level of movement from weight class to weight class.
But you know what I think it is? I think for the women, though, they have easily, and we've seen this in women's boxing, they've been easily able to move up those weight classes, come down those weight classes. Like they've been able to do it. I think it's a big jump and it's a big test for Mikaela Mayer. But think about it in this way. Mikaela Mayer, we all know what happened with her and Alicia Baumgardner. If she goes over to Liverpool, not her backyard, she's been comfortable fighting in Europe. If she jumps up all the way to welterweight and gets this W against Natasha Jonas, what are we going to say about Mikaela Mayer? We're going to be saying she's a badass.
She'll be pound for pound top 5 in that. Yeah, she'll be pound for pound top 5.
She has more to gain, I think, if she wins this fight, and she knows that.
Natasha Jonas has a lot to gain too, because this will be like one of her big wins, because Mikaela Mayer
She's
is a man.
defending her IBF though. We know, like, if you.
But that's the other thing about the size is, like, she's been in this weight class and she's also been
Yeah.
a champion at super welterweight, right? So she is gonna have the advantage there too. Like, I think Mikaela Mayer is gonna try to push her around, and I'm not sure that's gonna work.
Here's the thing. I think if I'm Mikaela Mayer, because knowing the way Natasha Jonas fights, she's going to be the aggressor. I think Mikaela Mayer has to be a little bit more tactical and use her high IQ and use her skill to her advantage. So I think what she's going to have to do is, even though Mikaela Mayer wants to bang on the inside, I think she will at times, but I think she has to use her height. It's 1 inch. I know that's not a lot, but I think she has to, like, stick and move.
I think it's more than 1 inch. Did you see them standing next to each other?
Was Mayer wearing heels though? You know how Mayer gets done,
that's true, actually.
right,
That's true.
for these press conferences. But
I didn't see that.
But nonetheless, Bryan, you're gonna rock with Natasha Jonas to win by decision. You said that's a minus 110. Yeah, which even. She's the favorite coming into that one. Mikaela Mayer, though, this is the one I'm rolling with. I'm taking her to win by decision, plus 164. A little bit of value there, but I just think Mayer is the more skilled fighter, and she's going to end up mixing it up more. And I do think she's going to turn it up in the later rounds. Here at the Mandatory, we want to know how you're going to be betting this fight. Drop your slips, because we know that sometimes you like to talk smack, and we want to know that you bet the fight right. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. We're at TheMandatory TKO, and make sure to hit that like and subscribe button as well. Bryan, any final thoughts before we get up and out of here?
Yeah, and I actually think this is going to be a very interesting fight. I think this is more interesting than the fight that we're going to get next week with Jaime Munguia and John Ryder.
Turn on the heat and get into bed. I don't care. Because you know when you turn on the heat and get into bed, you get a good sleep. I do. I pass out.
No, not me. I hate you. I can't sleep hot.
In the winter, though? Like when it's cold?
No.
I don't know about you. I'm turning on the heat.
No, I can't sleep hot. If I'm hot, I'm uncomfortable. I need a fan. I need something.
Yes, even in the winter, huh? That's
even
wild,
in the winter.
Yeah,
I need to be a little cool.
Okay, got you.
My body runs hot. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. All I know is that I'm not built for these cold temperatures. And when I think about Jaime Munguia in that Ryder fight, I want to turn up the heat, get underneath my covers, and pass out. But we will be covering that fight for you. We will be giving you our bets for that fight. And Bryan, I'm gonna let you say the final words before we get up out of here.
Natasha Jonas, San Francisco 49ers, Baltimore Ravens parlay.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. You know what? I took the 40. I'm trying. Like, it's not the football podcast, but Bryan and I could have a good pigskin podcast. Maybe one time we'll talk about it on the Mandatory. Let us know how you're betting. Hit that like and subscribe button, and thanks so much for rocking with us.